Good afternoon. Welcome to the State of the University Address sponsored by the Academic Senate. Thank you all for being here. I'm Susan Coulter, Professor of Literature in the Department of English. I'm beginning my 4th year as the Chair of the Academic Senate and already greatly enjoying working with the wonderful group of representatives that we have assembled. I'm looking forward to the year ahead. The Academic Senate is our primary governing body at Illinois State University. All campus members, faculty, students, faculty associates, administrative professionals, and civil servants participate in academic governance through the Senate. Opportunities abound to serve the university through the Senate or one of its external committees, and we are merely the broadest level of the vibrant shared governance system. Sitting at the same table with our leaders and meeting and working with colleagues from across campus, many that you would never otherwise come into contact with, are some of the rewards of this service. Working to improve ISU and launch us toward higher and higher academic achievement is our most important mission. The rank and file members of our campus shape our priorities, as the 18-month strategic plan updating process is reaffirming. This year, in addition to the Senate's reviewing that new strategic plan, an ad hoc committee will be examining the Student Code of Conduct and the procedures used to enforce it. The Faculty Caucus will be discussing the disciplining of faculty and effective processes for ethics complaints, and the Senate will debate suggested improvements to our graduation requirements with regard to diversity and our knowledge of Africa, the Middle East, Latin America, Asia, and indigenous peoples. Please feel free at any time to reach out to me personally, and remember that any member of the academic community may bring any issue of concern to the Senate through an appropriate committee or an individual senator. I'm honored to be able to introduce President Larry Deitz as he gives his 4th State of the University address. Dr. Deitz has led us through the first rounds of a major budget battle taking place on the state level. Thanks to superb planning and problem solving on many levels of the university, we avoided furloughs, we avoided elimination of academic programs, and we kept our enrollments strong. We received a long-awaited, though modest, pay raise, and we even began planning to expand our academic offerings. The President and I have spoken several times about the importance of moving full steam ahead. Our university joins other prominent leaders of higher education in recognizing the arts, humanities, social sciences, and education as indispensable to a strong society, as well as integral to thinking through the tough questions being posed within and by science, technology, engineering, mathematics, business, and the health sciences. Every student benefits from the well-rounded liberal arts education that we provide here. And if there is widespread social misunderstanding of what that word liberal means, what its history is, what its etymology, and what its centrality to democracy, we in English, languages, philosophy, history, and politics and government invite you to come engage with us in absorbing its complexities and nuances. It may amuse you to know, Dr. Deitz, that when I refreshed my memory about the word's origins, I found the famous 19th century cynic and satirist Ambrose Bierce once defining a conservative as a statesman who is enamored of existing evils, as distinguished from the liberal who wishes to replace them with other evils. And if we assume that those two vital roles can be reversed at will, the people of Illinois may now be the most advanced thinkers in the world in recognizing that we should hold this truth as self-evident. But regardless, in the nearly 3.5 years during which I have been Senate chairperson, Dr. Deitz has consistently reached out to me for consultation and exchange of information, among other things about the shape of our academic profile. He cares about ISU students, faculty, and staff, and is committed to bettering our experiences. President Deitz will speak for approximately 30 minutes. The floor will then be open to questions, and members of the campus community were invited to email questions for the president in advance, so we have a few of those. Following the address, please join us for a reception in the lobby, and Dr. Deitz will also be happy to answer questions there. And now let me ask you to give a warm welcome to the 19th president of Illinois State University, Dr. Larry Deitz.
Thank you very much, Dr. Coulter. As she mentioned, she's in her fourth year of being the Academic Senate Chair, and I'm in my fourth year as president of this university. So we really started out as freshmen, and now we're in our senior year. And I'm certainly a lot more senior than she is in terms of age, but I'm delighted to be here with you today and very much appreciate working with Senator Coulter and the rest of the Academic Senate. I'm going to be a bit more scripted today because she said we have 30 minutes, and so I want to make sure that we get out of here before dinner, so I'll try to stay within that time frame. So pardon some of my more scripted remarks, but here we go. Students, alumni, friends, faculty, and staff colleagues, good afternoon and welcome, and thank you very much for taking time out of your busy schedules to join us today in my fourth State of the University address as president of this fine institution. I would like to take a few moments before I get into my remarks to make several introductions of individuals that we want to introduce and ask you to please stand. And members of the audience, if you would please hold your acknowledgments until all have been introduced, I would appreciate that. We have several members of the Board of Trustees of Illinois State University here today. Right in front of me is Trustee Bob Dobsky. Bob, would you please stand? And along with him is also Trustee John Rauschenberger. Would you please stand? President Emeritus, Dr. David Strand. After an address like this, I always hear from Dr. Strand, and I appreciate it very much, your support, your presence today. Leaders in the community and state governance, Representative Keith Summers is here. Representative Dan Brady is here, and Senator Jason Barrickman. Jason, there you are. Leaders in campus shared governance, Senator Susan Coulter, Ron Gifford, Bob Blythe, and Bo Gerznich. Would all of you stand? And then also my vice presidential leadership team, the interim vice president for academic affairs and provost, Dr. Jan Murphy. Jan, would you please stand? Vice president for finance and planning, Dan Stevens. Vice president for university advancement, Pat Vickerman. And vice president for student affairs, Dr. Levester or L.J. Johnson. Would you all please stand? Now, please, let's recognize these wonderful people and their leadership. I've singled out one other special introduction, and I wanted to make sure that I got this in, and that's the introduction of a person that you've come to know and I've known and loved for many years, and that's your First Lady and my First Lady, Marlene Deitz. Marlene, would you please stand? I can now go home this evening confident that I've covered that piece. So. I begin this year's State of the University address with a simple two-word message, really for everyone, our students, faculty, staff, alumni, and Redbird friends. And that two-word stance and phrase is simply thank you, a heartfelt thank you. The past 2 years of political and fiscal gridlock have taken a harsh toll on all of us who work in Illinois' colleges and universities and who still believe that public higher education is this state's most precious resource. And although the impacts of the impasse are much greater at most sister institutions than on this campus, the constant barrage of partisan finger-pointing and delaying tactics acted as a daily stressor that constantly rippled through our news media, social media, and campus conversations. So thank you. Thank all of you for your patience, for your hard work, and thank you for your support and your confidence and for your positive attitudes. I've often said that during challenging times, the two things that we can control are planning processes, which we control quite well, and we have a lot of plans that are scalable. But probably most importantly, we control our attitude. Together, the people of Illinois State University control both. And today, we stand strong, and we stand stable, and poised for a bright future. My optimism is somewhat tempered by a looming state election cycle that could hold hostage budget negotiations in Springfield. Our campus planning processes will include a FY 2019 state appropriation and will also include contingencies in case stopgap budgeting is again the reality, which we hope it is not. However, for the first time in 3 years, we do enter a fresh fiscal and academic year with a state appropriation in place. Illinois' 736-day budget impasse ended July the 6th, when lawmakers finally passed a fiscal year 2018 spending plan. The action bringing a brief but a welcome sigh of relief on college campuses throughout the state of Illinois. For this fiscal year, 2018, Illinois State's state operating appropriation is just over $65 million. Although that amount is $7.2 million less than the pre-impasse FY 2015 budget, it is critical and greatly appreciated funding that allows the university to pay a backlog of bills and proceed with stability through the 2017-18 academic year. In addition, the university received $33.9 million in last year, FY 2017 funds. When added to an earlier stopgap budget, the final FY 2017 appropriation totaled $72.2 million, equaling the 2015 level, and we're grateful for that. We're also grateful that the state has also reimbursed the university for the millions in monetary award program funds that ISU had advanced to its 4,000 students with the greatest financial need. Very appreciative of that. Still, the impasse was a political and economic storm that left in its wake a great deal of damage. For many institutions, full recovery may be years away, if ever. In purely financial terms, the two-year impasse left Illinois State with $51 million less than if state appropriations had simply remained at the FY 2015 level. Almost all of the loss was absorbed in fiscal year 2016, when the final state appropriation was just $20.9 million, a 71% or $51 million cut from FY 2015. The last year this university received an appropriation of just $20.9 million was during the 1960s. One of the many myths about Illinois public higher education is that college and university leaders walk a worn path to the state capitol to stick out our hands and ask for increasing amounts of taxpayer money. Please allow me today to dispel that myth, at least for Illinois State University. This fiscal year's operating budget is $27 million less than in fiscal year 2002. And as you can see on the chart to my left, your right, since 2002, Illinois State's appropriations have, for the most part, at best, remained stagnant or declined. In the 4 years that I have provided House and Senate budget testimony, I have not once asked for greater amounts of funding. I've wanted to, but I haven't. What I have respectfully requested is a measure of predictability, an effort to maintain fiscal stability, and a willingness to engage in bipartisan conversations about the future of public higher education in the state of Illinois. In the meantime, I have thanked our governor and the General Assembly for the appropriations we did receive, while the university planned its work around major funding reductions. Illinois State has managed those reductions by leaving more than 120 non-faculty positions vacant, slowing the pace of non-safety related construction and maintenance projects, postponing or canceling some large equipment purchases, and curtailing travel. We weathered this storm better than most. We did that with quarter-century enrollment records, low debt burdens, and careful spending provided a safety net for our academic enterprise. We kept faculty in their classrooms and student support staff members in their offices. We managed without layoffs, without furlough days, program eliminations, or building closures. Our Board of Trustees held the tuition fee, room and board package at last year's levels, and we even managed a modest salary increase for faculty and staff. Simply put, we placed our students first while also making our faculty and staff a high priority. This year, we will seek once again to invest in our students, our faculty, and our support staff. We will invest more than $12 million to supplement the state's monetary award program, ensuring all of our students have the necessary financial resources. In addition, I have doubled the budget in a university college program that provides tools to help raise the retention and graduation rates for underrepresented, first-generation, and financially at-risk students. These tools are based upon our already successful Student Support Services program. Many have heard of TRIO, and that's the model that offers highly individualized assistance, counseling, and mentoring. We also invest in additional merit-based scholarships to attract and retain new students from Illinois and beyond. Meanwhile, I'm discussing with our financial and academic leadership initiatives to make further investment in our outstanding faculty and staff during this academic year. Right now, the salaries of full and associate professors at Illinois State University lag significantly behind those at many of our peer group institutions. My goal is to begin closing that gap, a gap that has resulted in salary compression and inversion issues on the campus. One mechanism we are investigating is to enhance the promotional increase for those who have been elevated from assistant to associate professor, and then for those who are being elevated from associate to full professor while serving at the university. Finally, as I did last year, I will seek to provide a modest mid-year merit-based salary increase for all eligible faculty and staff members. I stress that none of these initiatives are yet written in stone, but you will likely be hearing more about them at the college, departmental, and divisional levels during this academic year. One of the hallmarks of Illinois State is the dynamic teaching and caring support services offered by our faculty and staff members, and all of you deserve to be compensated to the best of our financial ability. We appreciate your contribution to the success of Illinois State University and want you to know that we want you to continue to work right here at Illinois State. If you've heard me speak before, you know that I'm fond of saying, let's plan our work and then we'll work our plan. As with any university planning process, I always begin by consulting our overarching strategic plan, Educating Illinois, that Senator Coulter talked about earlier. Educating Illinois was first adopted as the university blueprint for success back in 2000, and it's been updated 3 times, in 2004, 2008, and 2013. A year ago, I appointed a task force to once again review and revise this most important operating document. During the spring 2017 semester, the task force asked the university community for input, and you responded in force with some important recommendations. Among the emerging feedback themes are the following: staying true to who we are and growing where we can, keeping enrollment as a priority, recruiting and retaining talent, cultivating innovation, focusing on the core values of scholarly achievement, diversity, and civic engagement, and finally, taking bold new steps. Recently, the Planning Task Force electronically distributed a draft of the revised strategic plan throughout campus. You can find it online at Educating Illinois website. So once again, they asked for your review and comment throughout this fall semester. I've read the draft, and it's an important document, in my estimation, a very reflective document, but we also want you to get your 2 cents in, and the opportunity to do that is really now. The updated plan proposes some ambitious new goals and strategies. It also offers 2 new core values. One is collaboration, which is a commitment to our internal dedication to shared governance, as well as our outward partnership with industry, government, and education. The other new proposed core value is respect. The ideal that differences of belief and opinion can be expressed with civility and that we can address mutual concerns as a community. I honestly cannot think of a more critical time in our nation's recent history, or state for that matter, for this particular core value. In addition, the word inclusion has been added to our core value of diversity, reminding us that quality cannot exist without diversity, and that diversity will only thrive through inclusion. Finally, the draft offers a new look and a new name. The new name is Educate, Connect, Elevate. So you might ask, what's in a name? Well, our task force believes that Educate, Connect, and Elevate reflects the tone and tenor of responses from the campus community during the spring 2017 consultation phase. The new title seeks to communicate the university's broader aspirations building on 17 years of achievement under Educating Illinois. While we pause to read, reflect, and comment on the proposed new plan, I want to thank all of you for engaging in this process. And if you haven't engaged in it yet, please do so, and I'm still going to thank you in advance for doing that. I particularly want to thank our task force, however, for the terrific work they have done thus far in bringing the document forward for consideration. Would members of the task force, then the revising of our strategic plan, would you please stand for acknowledgement? Members of the task force, I know many of you are here. Let's give them a round of applause. Thank you very much. Taking time to revise our strategic plan does not mean other plans are placed on hold. In fact, we are quickly moving forward on a very busy 2017-18 university agenda. Two significant events took place just this last week. One, we formally broke ground for a major renovation of the Bone Student Center. The Bone Student Center is our most highly used non-instructional building for the entire campus and community. They welcome up to 5,000 guests each day and host more than 4,500 meetings and events annually. The 43-year-old facility has never undergone a significant remodeling, so we are anxious to make progress this year. It indeed needs a good facelift, and we're up for that challenge. Upgrades will include a new 2-story welcome center that will offer an excellent view of the quad, but more importantly, a gathering space for prospective students and their families. For most prospective students, families, and visitors, the Bone Student Center is the first stop, and we want to make a more attractive first impression. This addition will not only offer a more welcoming space, it will also showcase the quad, which of course has always been a great selling point for the university. Another major goal of the upgrade is to open up the facility, knocking away some concrete and bringing more natural light to the space. In addition, the renovation will add more dining options and reconfigured event spaces. This revitalization project has a price tag of $33 million. I'm pleased to say that tax funds are not part of the investment and that student fees have not been raised and will not be raised to pay for the project. In fact, this upgrade is funded almost entirely through on-hand cash investments through careful planning, and it will involve very little associated bond indebtedness. Meanwhile, just yesterday, we celebrated the formal ribbon cutting for the Center for Community Engagement and Service Learning. When I delivered my first State of the University message in the fall of 2014, I called on the campus community to develop such a center. Thanks to the tireless work of a great many people, this project came to fruition yesterday. The new center, located in the former Honors Building at the corner of North and Fell, is perhaps the most tangible evidence of our civic engagement core value. It ties many of our existing service programs together and partners with other university initiatives such as the American Democracy Project, the Stevenson Center, and the Office of Sustainability. Under the leadership of Interim Director Dr. Jan Patterson, the center serves as a point of contact for faculty, staff, students, and community organizations interested in learning more about campus and community engagement activities. The center also serves as the lead department on campus in pursuit of the Carnegie Foundation for the Advancement of Teaching. Today, I also want to update you on the work of another important task force, and that's the Climate Assessment Task Force, which has completed its final report and will soon launch a new website. The website will include implementation dates, accomplishments, and resources that promote the mission and the vision of our inclusive campus community. Several of the task force's short-term recommendations have already been or are being implemented, and mid and longer-term recommendations are in the discussion and planning stages. One includes a new campus-wide Diversity Executive Council, which I see as a clear step toward the institutionalization of diversity and inclusion on campus. We are all a reflection of our university values, and the establishment of the Diversity Executive Council reinforces this core value while sending the message that diversity and inclusion must emanate from every office and every individual on this campus. I believe the creation of an executive council offers a chance for everyone to have a voice that will lead us to become a stronger university. I am grateful to the task force, its steering committee, and its sponsoring leadership, as well as everyone who contributed to the report and its recommendations. And I look forward to the unveiling of the new website this fall. If members of the task force are in attendance today, would you please stand so the audience could also recognize you? Members of the task force, would you please stand? No number of you are here. Thank you. You've done a magnificent job, but we've got more to do. At a time when political and economic bottlenecks are an obstacle to progress, Illinois State University continues to plan forward and move forward. At a time when faith in the state of Illinois is questionable, confidence in Illinois State remains high. We will move confidently through the 2017 academic year with several significant initiatives. The university's new cybersecurity major is available this fall, with courses focused on defensive and offensive security, and a combination of security incident and event management with forensics. Illinois State is the first university in Illinois with a cybersecurity major, and the initiative has received a $3 million vote of confidence from our corporate partners at State Farm. Their gift establishes an endowed chair position that will provide leadership for the newly created major in the School of Information Technology, as well as funding for program enhancements and renovation of existing space to strengthen the learning environment for students. Meanwhile, over the past several months, I've been engaged in discussions with faculty members from several departments and schools to determine the feasibility of establishing engineering programs in select areas at Illinois State. So far, the areas of engineering physics and mechanical, electrical, and systems engineering show promise. Faculty have also examined employment outlook data for various engineering specialties and have drafted some early plans. Next steps for our faculty will be to continue to visit a few other universities with existing programs to better understand the resources, facilities, equipment, and personnel needed to launch engineering programs. One might say, well, there are a lot of engineering programs at a lot of other institutions in the state, and that is true. However, the needs for engineer in this state and many others goes unmet. And so this is an instance where duplication of programs and expansion of programs will meet state needs. You may remember that during last year's State of the University address, I announced a goal to increase our international enrollment to 5% of total enrollment within 5 years and 10% of total enrollment within 10 years. These percentages are consistent with most universities of our size and mission and would not adversely impact State of Illinois students who wish to attend Illinois State. I am pleased to tell you today that we've entered the partnership development phase with Into University Partnerships, an organization focused on expanding higher education opportunities for students worldwide. Into is an experienced entity that has a wide international recruiting network, a proven business plan, and a track record of results that will enable the university to strengthen international student preparation programs, extend global marketing efforts, and deliver an exceptional international student experience. Representatives from Into have visited the campus 4 times in the past to meet with working groups of faculty and staff to determine and discuss admissions processes, majors, and related curricula, as well as financial and legal matters. We expect a final agreement with Into will be signed before the end of this semester, and that the first group of international students enrolled through this program will begin in the fall of 2018. As we look to diversify our enrollment, I believe we must also further investigate and consider online degree programs. Today, Illinois State is missing out on a portion of the population, non-traditional students, for whom physical attendance in a classroom is generally not feasible. I've asked Interim Provost Murphy to prepare a business plan that will identify resources needed for Illinois State to successfully launch online degree programs and majors that make sense for this university, and to establish a reasonable timeline to implement this strategy. I can assure you that we will be deliberate and diligent in conducting our research and determining a model that is right for ISU. Illinois State Athletics is also taking bold new steps to grow in the national scene thanks to a first-of-its-kind partnership with Learfield, the leading company in representing collegiate programs in the sponsorship marketplace. The partnership guarantees almost $20 million over the 10-year period of the agreement that will help support Redbird Athletics' academic programs for its student athletes. Fans and alumni all over the country will also have the opportunity to watch Illinois State sporting events, as Redbird Productions has plans to broadcast a record number of events during the 2017-18 competition season via The Valley on ESPN3 platform. Also, thanks to a partnership with our School of Communications, student broadcasters and crew members will continue to be utilized in the broadcasts which stream live online to millions of followers via their computers, smartphone, tablets, smart TVs, and other devices. Clearly, the Illinois State University community has a lot to be excited about this year, and we are fortunate to be moving forward in a more stable higher education environment. Our freshman enrollment numbers moderated slightly this fall after 3 years of quarter-century records, but our overall enrollment is very strong at 20,784. I want to thank in particular our terrific staffs from enrollment management, admissions, registration, financial aid, university college, housing, and all of our academic advisors, and really everyone connected with recruiting and retaining students at Illinois State. Fewer students are graduating from Illinois high schools. Competition from out-of-state universities is intense, and a 2-year budget impasse made students and their families question the availability and value of public higher education in the state of Illinois. Still, Illinois State University has 20,784 students, and given the current climate, I think that is absolutely remarkable. So thank you very much. Our classrooms and our learning laboratories are full. Our residence hall are at or near capacity, and our campus is clean, safe, and active. The Illinois State brand remains strong, and our metrics of excellence continue to draw large numbers of high-achieving students to the heart of Illinois. Our success arises from our talented faculty and our caring staff, our motivated student body, but it also comes down from the support of our alumni, retirees, corporate partners, and Redbird friends. This past weekend, the university publicly launched Redbirds Rising, the campaign for Illinois State. It is the most ambitious fundraising campaign in ISU's history. Redbirds Rising is a $150 million fundraising initiative that will provide financial resources to scholarship and academic excellence, educate tomorrow's leaders, and spark creativity and innovation throughout our entire campus. Given our strengths and recent accomplishments, now's the time for the university to take our next big step so we continue to thrive in the years ahead. So now is also the time to build upon our successes, to secure the future of this university and to help our students rise to new levels of academic excellence. So how do we advance the university and continue on this positive trajectory? We ask that very important question of our leaders throughout campus, our vice presidents and deans of each of the colleges. The answer is to advance 3 objectives, which are the pillars for Redbirds Rising. The first, scholarship. That includes student and faculty support. The second, leadership. That includes programming and experiential learning. Third, innovation, which includes, among other things, creative workspaces and technology. With the public announcement of Redbird Rising, the campaign emerges from what in fundraising is called the quiet phase of the campaign. During our quiet phase, we learned that our alumni friends are ready to help advance Illinois State to bold new heights. And they've done that through their support, both time, treasure, and talents, but also certainly with their treasure. The last 4 years have represented the most successful era of private gift support in ISU's history. That has built tremendous momentum, and we're absolutely delighted and so thankful for the contributions that we have received thus far. In fact, to date, I can announce that we have raised more than $103 million toward our campaign goal to reach the $150 million mark by June of 2020. That's indeed phenomenal. I am asking Redbirds across our campus, students, faculty, staff, and our alumni to join in support of Redbirds Rising, the campaign for Illinois State University. I urge you to tell your Illinois State story to others. Share how your life has been changed by your experience. Share the news of the campaign with other alums and friends in your network and inspire others to give. And now I'd like to share the campaign video that debuted last Saturday night at the donor kickoff, featuring the voice of Illinois State alum and Steppenwolf Theater co-founder, Jeff Perry. Your attention to the screen, please.
It starts with a single action. One small deed can be the impetus for change. The beat of a single redbird's wings can produce reverberating transformation. It starts with curiosity, an interest, a dream, and grows into a passion, a calling. Imagine a time when every student can access opportunities to explore their dreams and ignite their passion. Imagine a future where leaders are engaged, effective, and civic-minded. Imagine a place where innovation and collaboration spark artistic expression and offer solutions to tomorrow's problems. It starts at Illinois State University. It began with an idea, a vision for a normal school to train teachers to raise up an educated population. It grew into an institution of excellence committed to raising the level of scholarship and academic achievement. Educating Illinois and enabling Redbirds to become their best selves and use their gifts to better our society in every field, from arts and sciences, education, business, nursing, applied sciences, and the fine arts.
I've discovered my true passion and know I will make an impact in my field.
As a nurse, I will help patients heal and overcome seemingly impossible obstacles.
I'm able to move people through my performance of some of the best music ever written.
The hands-on experience I'm gaining in the classroom today is preparing me to be a leader in my field tomorrow.
I'm breaking through and developing my skills and academics to an even higher level.
I'm thinking critically and will be able to tackle any problems that come my way.
I will be changing students' lives and helping them rise to higher levels of understanding.
Today, we celebrate our achievements and anticipate our shared future. Now is the time to leverage our strong foundation and rise to new heights of excellence. Like our founders, we will rise to greater levels of scholarship, leadership, and innovation. It starts with one single act, the beat of a single redbird's wings. It starts with you. Your investment provides the resources that pique the curiosity, that develops the dreams, that ignites the passions, that fosters innovation, that prepares tomorrow's leaders and teaches redbirds to fly. Your gift will keep Illinois State rising to higher levels of scholarship and academic achievement, rising to leadership roles in our communities, businesses, and organizations across the state and the nation, rising to greater innovation and breakthroughs in research and creative expression. Redbirds.
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 Redbirds!
Rising. Redbirds Rising, the campaign for Illinois State.
Well, thank you, Jeff. I say that like he and I are kind of like this, you know. I have met him, and he's a terrific guy, but we're kind of probably more like that. But we have in common the Redbird experience, and he's just a terrific alum, and what a voice for the background of all this. I also want to thank a couple of other folks who have taken time out of a busy day to be here with us this afternoon. Dan and Pam Kelly are two of the three, or one of the three couples that are co-chairs of the campaign. Dan and Pam, would you please stand and be acknowledged for your contributions? They're giving of their time, their treasure, and their talent to help support this, along with Jim and Carol Monier, who are from both Rockford and Naples, and Ken and Deb Glover, who are from Houston. Those are our three couples as co-chairs of the campaign. I very much appreciate all that you've done. Since we announced this on Saturday, Dan and I have already hit the road together. We are on three different media stations on Monday, I believe it was, and we've got more plans. So I really appreciate all that you do for us. I hope that this is another great year of working together and meeting our victories and our challenges in a spirit of community. I'm convinced that we can meet about any challenge that comes our way, given what we've been through for the last couple of years. Our future is bright, and it's bright because we have folks working hard and together for the future of this institution. Together, we make Illinois State a great place to work, live, teach, and learn. Thank you so much for your kind attention this afternoon. Thank you very much for being here. And go you Redbirds!
Got to get my feet under me. Thank you, President Deitz. As I indicated earlier, President Deitz will be glad to take a few questions from the audience. If anyone has any questions for President Deitz, please come to the microphone toward the front of each aisle, or actually it's more like the middle of each aisle. And I have received a few questions through our senators, so I'll start with this one. President Deitz, how do we deal with the infrastructure problems of the Fine Arts Building, given that there continues to be no funding for a new structure?
Leading off with the simple ones, right? That's a great question, and I'm sure that it's a question that's on the minds of many people, having read a Chicago Tribune article not long ago that described that project as having been canceled. That is the term of the person who wrote the article. I've consulted with a number of folks, legislators, about that issue, and they're accurate in terms of the amount of money that's been spent on some of these projects, but they're inaccurate in terms of anything being off the agenda, including the new College of Fine Arts. Action has to be taken, though, to get that beyond the planning stage. We're finished with the planning stage. It needs to be upgraded because nothing's really happened on that for a few years. But it's still on the agenda. We still hope to have a new College of Fine Arts. But there's got to be not only legislation to support that, but there has to be money identified to support the legislation. And that's where the rub comes in, of sorts. But that is still our plan. We don't have the money in the budget to say, well, we're going to build it out of our operating expense. We just simply don't have that kind of money. So we're going to be in a situation where we're going to continue to invest in a building who's tired and needs to be renovated, and part of it needs to be replaced. And so the money that we're spending in those kind of renovations, frankly, is money that we ought to be investing in a new facility. But that's not happening right now, but we're still optimistic that that can occur. So nothing's been taken off the table as far as I've been concerned, and I've been reassured of that. And we just have to keep working hard together. I know our elected officials are working hard on those kind of issues, but we have a budget, so that's the first step. I'm an optimist that we're going to have another budget. And people can come together and work together and get some things done. And so it's not because our folks haven't been working hard in that direction, but we just have, it takes the will to come together and do those kinds of things. But I'm hopeful and optimistic that will be done, and that we'll have a new College of Fine Arts. I wish I could tell you my crystal ball is very clear, but it's not. So I don't know when that's going to happen, but according to the article, if you just read that, you thought, oh gosh, not only is our project, not going to be going forward, but everything else, many other projects on other campuses have been taken off the grid, and that's simply not the case, is what I've been told. So we're optimistic, we're going to move forward, and in the meantime, We have some investments to make over there. I signed a voucher for about $300,000 for a roof project that we're going to have to do some roof patching again, and I know there are other concerns that are over there. We want to make sure, though, that we're taking care of particularly the safety-related concerns in that building. It's old and tired and needs to be replaced, and that's why we put it on the agenda to begin with. So.
Looks like we have a question from the audience. Why don't you go ahead, sir?
My name is Andy Olson. I'm the sports director for WZND here on campus, but I'm here as a student today. I wanted to know what the timeline was for hiring a new provost for the university.
Great question. We have a committee that's been formed, a search and screen committee that's been formed. The chair of that is Dr. Beggs, and Brent Beggs and that committee. I met with them at the beginning of this semester and gave them the charge from the president's office to review the job description, get together, talk about places to advertise, and to talk to their colleagues. We're not using a search firm on this. There have been times that in the past where the university has used search firms for this. We haven't for the last couple of vice president positions, and we're not going to do it for this position, which is incumbent then upon all of us to get busy, to use our own networks, because we have networks at other campuses within our disciplines. So if you say, well, gee, I don't know another provost, I don't know another person who would want to be this provost, you know your counterparts, though, on other campuses within your disciplines, and they know people on their campuses. So the way we're going to get another terrific provost, like Jan Murphy, who's just done a terrific job, and I appreciate her very much stepping into the breach here for this time frame. She's wanted to retire several times. And she's finally pretty serious about this, I think. And so we're moving toward that end, but to get a strong, diverse, talented pool, we need everybody, call in your friends at other places, and say, this is a wonderful university, it's a wonderful position, and we want to encourage people into the pool. I've been asked at times, well, can you really bring people into Illinois given the budget situation? And my answer to that is very simple. If I was at some other institutions, I think the job would be pretty tough. And you do have to go through a round of Q&A about the situation in Illinois. I still think that I know that we're hiring high-quality administrators and high-quality faculty because Illinois State University is still a gem. And people who are wanting to move up in their careers or join a quality organization will come here. I'm convinced of that. So as you talk to your friends and your colleagues, if you need some talking points, give me a call. But I think those are the strongest ones that I can make, is that we're a quality institution, and if you want a great professional opportunity and great support while you're here in continuing to grow and advance, this is the place. And this is the position.
Thank you.
Thanks.
All right, we'll toss you another question from the senators.
Okay.
They say, could you talk a little bit more about the status and priority of our programs to internationalize ISU, improve the global footprint, our global footprint, have more international programs, improve the quality of study abroad, and bring international students to ISU, and as well as the kind of support that we will be offering to non-native English-speaking graduate and undergraduate students, and how well such support will be funded. Yes, we are not known for our short-windedness.
Dan, you want to handle that one?
It's almost supper time.
It's almost great question. I'd say, first of all, and many parts to it, obviously. Let me not get into each of those parts, but just to make some general statements. First of all, we are woefully low in our percentage of international students here. Most institutions of our size will have somewhere between 10 and 15% of their overall population from other countries. And that's because of diversity. We talk about educating students to join a global economy and a global society. You can't do that if you go to a place and you don't ever meet anybody from another country. You can talk about it, but it's only an intellectual issue at that point. It's not really a cultural issue where you're really getting to know people from other cultures, other parts of the world, other values, other religions, other faiths, on and on and on. So That's the rationale for most institutions why they got into the international business in the first place. That's still a very valid rationale. There are financial parts of that as well, so not to be naive about that. There are financial components of having an international program that benefit the institution. But mainly it's because we're interested in diversity and we're way low on the percentage of international students who are here. We're going to do this in the same way we've done other things, which in my estimation is really what sets Illinois State apart from other places. We do it in a very planful, a very thoughtful kind of way, and we are kind of the steady eddies, if you will, in planning our work and then working our plan. That's why we've got faculty involved with this and talking about where can we expand. That's why we've got a lot of staff involved with this, talking about what are the needs, going to be the needs of an expanded international population. And that's also why we're not going from 10% to 15% overnight. Some institutions have done that, and they've done that, in my estimation, out of more desperation than out of education. And they've done that oftentimes because of financial issues. So our international plan, the two largest countries in the world that export students to other places are China and India. Our international program is not going to bring in, of that percentage, all students from China and India. Those are important countries for us to bring some students from. But we want our international program to be as diverse as our domestic program. So we're going to have students from South America and Central America and the Middle East and Europe, and I don't know we're going to get a lot of folks from the Antarctic. I don't know how many folks are down there in the first place, but we're probably not going to get folks from there. But nevertheless, we want to be very planful about how we do this. We're going to have opportunities for a lot of people to get your oar in the water on this issue. It's already happening. We've been going through this for well over a year, so we make sure that the relationship with INTU, we still as a university control the academic criteria that will be used to admit students. We control how many, we control from what countries, and we control basically all of that in enrollment management terms. The top end of the funnel is what they really control, which is the expensive part, and that's identifying the prospects and getting those narrowed down into individuals who are real applicants for this institution and really mesh with our academic criteria that we use to admit students. Brent Patterson has been leading the charge on this, and Brent and the other folks that have been involved with him and that team, I really want to say thank you very much. It's an exciting, ambitious, complex process, but we're going to get there and we'll get there together.
Well, the only other question I have in front of me is one line longer than that one, so I'm going to leave it to the audience in the reception area. Thank you very much. Let's give a thanks to Dr. Deitz for his address.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thanks, Don. Thanks for being here. Appreciate it.